What is going on, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Nerd Crew Podcast. I am your man, Andy York. Thank you guys so much for joining us, whether it is on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Podbean every once in a while, or if you join us every Tuesday night where we live stream every single episode. Thank you guys so much for being a part. We really appreciate it. We're very slowly moving up the subscriber ranking, so we're very excited about that. We're very excited. There's a lot we're going to talk about today, but before we get into anything else, as always, I am joined by, I didn't think of one. I tried to think of one and it didn't really work very well. We need a good one.
No, that doesn't work.
See, it's not as easy as like people think.
The Gamora to my Thanos.
Oh, you're dead.
You're gonna throw me off a cliff.
I'm gonna throw you off a cliff. That works. Gamora to my Thanos. Jason, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. The hype is building ever closer for this movie, and now I am on my internet detox, which I'm sure we'll get into more of this later. But now, more than ever, as we're getting closer, there are spoilers floating all around the internet.
Right now.
There's been actual legitimate leaked footage about important plot things, not like deaths or things like that, but important plot points that is out there. There have been screen caps of that.
Yeah.
So everybody stay safe.
Be careful. I'll say this, do not click on the Avengers Endgame hashtag at all.
I would say don't go on Reddit, don't go on Twitter.
Yeah, well,
and depending on your friends, don't go on Facebook.
Or Instagram.
It is easy to say. Or Instagram, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And be careful what you're watching on YouTube. But
yes.
I would recommend
basically just go live in a shell for about 10 days, 9 or 10 days, and then you'll be good to go. No, be very, very careful because there are people who are trolling everywhere. Trying to throw stuff in, so be very, very careful. You are lucky you haven't fallen prey to any of it yet. I unfortunately have seen one thing that is awesome, but yet very upsetting that I didn't find out when I should have. I found out early, but that's fine. That's fine. So
the good thing, as I said earlier, is that it's a 3-hour-long movie, and the Russos are great at putting in a lot of twists and turns. So it does definitely suck.
Yeah, but
Still.
We there's a lot we got to talk about today. There's a lot we're going to get into, but before we get into anything, I'm going to make you go first. Jason, what are you into this week?
I really truly have no idea, so I'm going to pass it right back off to you, and I'll think of.
I was going to use you because I didn't think of one either. Let's see, what am I into this week? Well, what am I into this week? Not a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe we can just do a pass.
For
both of us.
I can tell you what I'm into, actually. But it's something we're going to talk about very detailed at the very end. I got to watch the Star Wars Celebration, the live stream, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. Got to see a whole lot of new stuff, so that was a lot of fun. That made me very excited for Episode 9, which we'll talk about towards the very end. That'll be our main thing that we discuss today. I'm very excited about talking about that. I'm very excited to see it, especially to see what direction to go after The Last Jedi, after one of the most non-controversial movies of all time. I think that's fair. I think that's safe to say.
Universally beloved.
Beloved.
Especially by me.
See, I loved it. Like we both differ on it, which is awesome. So
we didn't go really in depth on Last Jedi. I think we've done a Star Wars focused episode before, but we haven't gone in depth on Last Jedi.
We did, but we didn't. I think we could go a lot deeper if we wanted to, which we might have to. We'll probably do before.
Do we want to?
Do we want to? Do we want to open that door?
Right.
So that's another question for another day.
That's
Jason,
probably the biggest quality debate in pop culture film for quite a while.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
In recent years.
I would definitely agree with that. So do you have anything that you are into this week? Any new TV show, movie, video game?
No.
Any new food that you've tried?
Oh, that's a good one. No. No, my life just moves too slowly, I guess, for this weekly podcast. But I'll come right back with something next week.
Next week you have to have two. So be prepared for that.
Right.
You got to do 2 cool things next week. So.
Right.
All right, so there's a lot we're going to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
You know what I am into this week?
What?
I am into my Incredible Hulk character breakdown that is coming out later on the channel.
Probably tomorrow.
So
you might actually get 2 videos tomorrow.
Yeah.
So look out for that.
That'll be epic.
Epic. And then next week is an even bigger week because you're going to get 3 videos. So get prepared for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We got to get prepared for that.
We got to get prepared for that. So yeah, check out that. We are very quickly coming upon Endgame. We are technically 10 days out. Some of us are 9 days out because we're cool like that, and we get to go see it Thursday night. But yeah, so there's a lot we're going to discuss today. There's a lot we're going to talk about today. Obviously, we're going to talk about Avengers Endgame. There have been 2 TV spots released. No, 3 TV. A TV spot, and then a trailer, and then another TV spot. I think, right? 2 TV spots and a trailer ish. I guess you could call them that. Anyways, we'll talk about those. We're going to talk about Disney Plus and all the new stuff, the fun stuff that's going to happen there, and then obviously we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 9, the Rise of Skywalker. So let's start with the Disney Plus, because I feel like that won't have as much of our attention. But Disney came out last Thursday, I believe it was, Thursday or Friday, and they went into detail about the Disney Plus app. It is coming out in November, which is really cool, and it's only $6.99, which is awesome, especially for what you get for it. So I'm going to kind of run down through the list, and you can stop me if there's anything specifically you want to talk about, and we'll go through there.
Cool.
All right, so Captain Marvel will be on the Disney Plus app from day 1, which is awesome. Cool. And by the end of the year, I think many of the MCU movies will be on.
I think it was many.
I know they said that in the first year, Avengers Endgame will be on the Disney Plus app,
which is crazy,
which is awesome. So that'll be on there. You can also make your own dream Disney Plus profile by building your own custom emoji, which is cool. Let's see here.
All I've ever wanted is my own custom emoji.
Especially like a Disney custom emoji.
To validate me as a human being.
Exactly. Over the next 2 years, Disney Plus will be all over the world, which is awesome. You'll be able to experience the entire signature collection on the first day, which is cool. You get to go in behind the scenes of making of Frozen 2, because that's such a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. This is really cool to me.
I am excited for Frozen 2.
I am too.
I hope it's good.
This is really exciting to me, though. All Pixar films will be available on Disney Plus the first year.
Amazing.
So all Pixar movies, which is absolutely amazing to me.
I can rewatch Incredibles
many times. Toy Story, Finding Nemo, all of them, man. I'm very excited. Cars. I know you love Cars. We're going to talk about Cars a lot.
Yeah. Cars 2 especially.
Oh, man. All Pixar theatrical shorts will also be on Disney Plus at launch, which is awesome.
Cool.
You get to meet Toy Story's newest star as Forky, or the character Forky, and it's a series of shorts coming out with him. So that's very interesting.
Man, you're telling me Forky survives Toy Story 4?
He
what
does.
A spoiler!
I know, right? What a spoiler!
Huge spoiler! I can't believe it.
I'm going to spoil another one. Bo Peep is still around after Toy Story 4, because she is getting her own Pixar short as well, called The Lamp Life. So that's weird. This is very exciting for us nerds. It is actually confirmed now that we are getting a Scarlet Witch and Vision TV show.
Speaking of strange names,
Scarlet Witch.
Speaking of strange names for Disney Plus shows.
What?
Did you hear what it's called?
No.
It's called WandaVision.
Oh, yeah, no, I just see it.
One word.
Oh, that's a dumb name. But Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are reprising their characters, which is really, really cool to see.
Awesome.
Also, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are teaming up for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That is what I am most excited about.
Me too. That is going to be absolutely awesome.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Cannot wait. If you get the chance, I don't know if I've sent it to you before.
Yes.
Watch Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan together
so
in
funny.
interviews for Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War. They are hilarious.
And you can even tell in Civil War, they just have chemistry together.
Yes.
And so this show is going to be awesome. The show I'm probably most excited for, actually, though, is Loki, a new series with Tom Hiddleston playing his part. That's going to be absolutely awesome to see. This is really cool as well. All Star Wars films will be out within the first year of the Disney Plus, so we're going to get those as well.
And now that they own Fox, they own the original non-special edition cuts.
Yep. So we're going to get a lot of new and fun stuff to look at.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that one's not that important. We get ready. We get to see Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian. We get to see that, which I'm excited for because it's Jon Favreau.
I am beyond hype for that. Like if my episode 9 hype is at a 10, then my Mandalorian hype is at like a 9.5.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited for The Mandalorian. I can't wait to see it.
Oh yeah, me too. Disney Plus movie library will also include Mary Poppins, Alice in Wonderland from 2010, and much more, all available the first day of launching, which is big news. We get to see a holiday magic in Noel with Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader, and more. I like Bill Hader, so that'll be very interesting. That one's not that important. The stars are aligning based on New York Times bestselling will be on there. Let's see if there are any more. This calls for a plate of spaghetti for two. That is a live-action Lady and the Tramp is making its way to Disney Plus at launch. So that's not even going to go out in theaters. That's going straight on the app, which is weird. Because I feel like Lady and the Tramp would be one that you would want to be in theaters. Like, that would make a crap ton of money.
It would, but then again, the entire purpose of these Disney live-action remakes is just to make money.
That's true.
And so kind of like relegating one of them to the streaming app makes sense so that you can just flood the market with as many live-action remakes of movies that you've already made.
Yeah. That's true.
As you can.
That's very true.
So
we also get to see the...
I know my hype for Lady and the Tramp is just coming through.
Oh, it's so awesome.
So deeply.
I know you're so excited about that.
Beyond excited.
I actually am excited for this. The World According to Jeff Goldblum from National Geography. Is that right? National Geography?
National Geographic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'll be on that will be there when it launches. This is really, 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 really cool to me. I'm gonna watch this a crap ton. 5,000 episodes of Disney Channel content and 100 Disney Channel original movies will be there the first day.
I can watch Hannah Montana the movie the first day.
The first day. You know how much Kim Possible I'm actually going to watch. Not even joking. Not even a joke.
I mean, sure.
I love Kim Possible, man. It was awesome. Plus, if Holes is one of the original that we get to watch, that'll be great because I love that movie. There's another one that somebody brought up today, and I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I haven't heard that movie in a long time, and I really want to see it. It was the surfer one.
My Disney Channel original movie knowledge is very lacking.
I have to go back and look at it. This is very exciting for me because I'm a Phineas and Ferb geek. Not only is the movie going to be on there, but a new animated
spin-off Baljeet series.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. No, we're getting a new animated adventure with them. So they're making more Phineas and Ferb, which is going to be more Phineas and Ferb is always better. I know this is very exciting for you. It's the start of something really new. High School Musical, the series is coming to the Disney Plus app.
That's the name?
The
musical, the series.
All it says is it's the start of something really new. High School Musical, the series is coming to... So I'm guessing it's just called High School Musical, the musical. Which is very redundant.
The names on the Disney Plus app
need a little work.
On fire.
They need a little work.
WandaVision. And
High School Musical, the musical.
The series.
That's
awesome.
So we get also The Sound of Music and Malcolm in the Middle. That'll be on there, so that'll be a lot of fun. Blah, blah, blah. Everything coming to Disney Plus. The Simpsons will be making the Disney Plus their exclusive home for streaming at launch. So we're going to get The Simpsons on Disney Plus because that's what everybody wanted to see.
Makes perfect sense.
So that's basically all. That's all the ones that not excited about, but that's the ones that kind of bring back memories and stuff. So we're very excited about that. I know I'm probably going to buy it as soon as it launches because why not?
Me too.
It's $7. I literally might drop Netflix and just buy that because there's nothing good on Netflix really. Maybe The Umbrella Academy and I don't even watch Stranger Things. I know you do, but maybe The Umbrella Academy is the only thing I would probably stay to watch.
Yeah. We'll just have to see how the Netflix landscape changes by that time, because Netflix is always changing.
Yeah. All right, so Nico said the Falcon and Winter Soldier should be called Captain America Tryouts.
Yeah.
That's a good name. If they don't do something with their movie...
If they don't do something with their old movie properties, they'll lose the rights to those movies.
So,
I guess.
It's Disney, though. They own the world. Like, they own everything.
That's true, and I mean, if that's true, then whatever, and that makes sense. It's just I'm not really a fan of the live action remakes, just because they kind of suck the life out of
the old ones?
Things that already exist, and they have to. You know, if you're trying to make some live action remake, then it has to inherently do things that. Or it can't do things that animation can do, and it can't make the colors that animation can have.
Right.
You know, so when you're going for full photorealism, then it just makes it look drab in comparison to, like, this animated classic.
Yeah. I will say, though, because, like, I'm not big on the live action either, because, like, Aladdin to me looks terrible. Mm-hmm. The Jungle Book was actually not that bad. Like, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Dumbo yet, but I'm very excited. One of my most exciting movies, one of those movies I'm most excited to see is The Lion King, just because that's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, and it actually looks really good to me. So like I'm actually very excited to see that movie.
I'm interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah,
we'll just have to see.
So that's all that really Disney Plus kind of gave us.
I gotta say, I love the voice cast for that, though.
Yes,
absolutely love it.
Donald Glover as is he playing Scar?
No, he's Simba.
No, he's Simba. Who's playing Scar? The name's on the tip of my tongue. Crap. Cast. We'll just do that.
I like how I just said I love the voice cast for that,
and then we can't think of the name.
Who's Scar? And I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, so Donald Glover is Simba. I can't even say that guy's name. Chiweedle Ejiofor is playing Scar.
Chiweedle Ejiofor.
Yeah, that guy. James Earl Jones is playing Mufasa, which is awesome. Seth Rogen as Puma, because of course. Mm-hmm. Beyonce is Nala, mm-hmm. which is cool. Keegan-Michael Key is in it. Like
Eric Andre.
Yeah. John Oliver is Zazu. So yeah. So it's going to be a great cast, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good movie to watch. So yeah, that's very exciting to me, and so I'm very excited for the Disney Plus app. I know I'm going to buy it. I think we're both going to buy it the very first day it comes out, so that'll be a lot of fun to look at. And plus, man, you get Marvel movies like right at the tip of your fingers. And it's going to be great to see. Mm-hmm. All right, so jumping from one Disney property to another Disney property, we're going to talk about Avengers Endgame and what's all been going on. We're going to ask, though, that if you have been in the chat, or if you are in the chat and you have seen the spoilers, please don't spoil the movie for anybody else. There is, I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say this, there's a special place in hell for people that will spoil this movie. So don't spoil the movie, because that's a real jerk move. So just make sure that you are being nice in the chat. Make sure that you aren't ruining anything. We don't want to have to kick anyone out, unless it's Nico. We might kick him out. But no, like we want everybody to enjoy this movie, and we want everybody to see it the right way.
Yeah.
Social media is great for a lot of things, but this is one of like the biggest downfalls for it is trolls and people who like to spoil things. So just be careful and just kind of keep everything to a minimum. Don't, if you want to go into speculation, speculate all you want. Just don't spoil the movie for others. Please don't do that. So I think we've had two. I mean, they've released it all on Twitter, but we've had it was the 15 days out. I think they played something, and then 10 days out they played something. Well, today they released two different videos, and then I think on Friday they released another one early in the morning. And so I'm gonna see if I can find the one. I'll let you go ahead and talk about whichever one you want to talk about first.
Which one?
Either one. Any one of the ones that you want to talk about.
Of the TV spots?
Yeah, I like the new ones that we've seen.
Oh.
We can do the one about all of them, like the longer one.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking about the retrospective one.
Yeah.
Where it goes back and it shows scenes from it starts on a scene from Iron Man, and it has a scene from Winter Soldier, and it has a scene from Thor Ragnarok. It goes one after another. Yeah, and that's going to definitely help me remember it. But the thing that I absolutely love about the opening to this TV spot is they repeat the hero themes, which they never do. They never reuse the hero themes, which I'm fine with because they have the iconic Avengers theme and there's so many characters. But for this TV spot, they repeat like that theme from Iron Man 3, the theme from the first Captain America, and then the theme from, I think, the first Thor, and then the theme from the first Guardians when they show the Guardians, and the Doctor Strange theme for Doctor Strange. So, it's a really exciting, and then we see Ant-Man. It's just kind of different shots, retrospective of all these characters, and that's something that I love about the build-up to Endgame. And the marketing for Endgame is that they've been looking back, especially in that second trailer.
Yeah.
Where everything was kind of gray. And then there's a shot of Captain Marvel, a shot of Black Panther. But I really love the idea of the retrospective. And then we go movie by movie with each title card.
I love though, hang on, I'll go back a little bit. Mm-hmm. I love that they don't show Edward Norton at all. Like they show like they just show Mark Ruffalo. Like they're just like, yeah, no, the Incredible Hulk is a part of the canon. Edward Norton is not.
For Incredible Hulk and for Spider-Man, they don't show scenes from those actual.
Yeah, they don't show from the Avengers or.
But the kind of retrospective with the title cards that they go through at the end of this TV spot is awesome.
Yeah.
And just kind of the idea that the Endgame is the closing to this entire saga.
The Infinity Saga.
They're really reinforcing that with the marketing, and especially with this trailer, it's really, really fun to watch.
Yeah. And it's like I literally watching this, I got goosebumps going back. I'm like, wow, we've been through a lot. Like we've seen a lot of ups and downs, but it's all been really worth it. Mm-hmm. So it goes from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then Avengers Infinity War, and then it stops with the snap, and then it shows some clips from Endgame with Thanos coming into town. I guess you can say coming into town.
We get a new shot of Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Right
there. Yeah. We also get to see. So we get to see something new on the Iron Man suit, which I can't really tell what it is, but it's like blasters on the back. Mm-hmm. It looks like he looks like an alien. He's got those like things popping up.
And then we see a shot actually of Thanos' ship coming through some like thick smoke or thick clouds.
Yeah.
And if that's not on Earth, I'm wondering if that's on Xandar. If we get to go back and see him retrieve the Power Stone in this movie,
right?
But we'll just have to see about that. But I think there's a possibility of that. Because, of course, Infinity War started off when he had already done that. Already retrieved the Power Stone from Xandar. So.
Yeah. What is really cool, though, and I kind of brought it up to you, was the shot where they all have their red gloves and they're putting it in the middle, like in a round, in a circle. If you look at it, and then you go and look at the Tony's first arc reactor. Was it his first arc reactor?
Yeah.
They look similar. Like they look eerily similar.
Proof Tony Stark has a heart.
Yeah, that one. If you go back and look at those two together, they look really similar, which is really cool. So it's kind of like I'm sure it's intentional, but it's probably like seeing that is really, really cool and kind of calling things back to the beginning, which is really, really cool. And then we get the awesome title reveal, which I love every single time. I really hope it shows up like that in the movie. Like, I really hope they do that. And then we get the end shot of the 3 original Avengers walking towards Thanos, which is always fun. So that was one of them that was released. The other one was... Let's see if I can find it. Is it this one? I think it's that one. Is it that one? No, that's the old one. Go ahead and talk about the other one. Do you remember it?
No.
You're supposed to remember it.
But it's really good.
Is it that one? I don't think it's that one. The Do You Trust Me? I Do. I don't think that's it. Let's see.
That's no, but there's the one where... yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's where we got our first shots of Captain Marvel in a TV spot.
Yeah. And then we also get the shot of all of them in the it's Benetard, is that what it's called now? Mm-hmm. They're on the Benetard, and Rocket says, "How many of you have never been to space?" And then I think Cap and Black Widow and Hawkeye and
I don't think Hawkeye's there, but Rhodey's there.
Rhodey, they all raise their hand, and he goes, "Don't anybody throw up in my ship."
Yeah.
And it's just like, yep, that's the most Rocket thing in the world to say. And then we kind of skip forward. We get the first shot of Captain Marvel, which is really cool. So they're showing us a little bit. They're showing us a lot. That one's also really cool. But then the one that we saw 4 days ago, I believe this is it. Maybe not. There's so many of them. They released so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so the only one about this one is like the very end with Cap giving his speech throughout. And then at the very end, it made me realize that I want to see a Disney Plus show with Rocket and Ant-Man. Like I want to see those two work together.
That would be fun.
That would be a great show. But yeah, so they're releasing a lot of stuff. They're giving us a lot of stuff to look at. But yet they're really not giving us anything at all at the same time, which I absolutely love. So, 9 days out. We're 9 days out, which means not next episode, but the episode after that. Oh, it's on. It's going to be like a 4-hour episode. Like, we're just going to talk. We're going to be here till like 1 o'clock in the morning just talking about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to schedule that. I'm going to bring a jar of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're gonna see us like we're gonna take shifts, and like one of us is just gonna go take a nap, the other one's just gonna talk.
Because I'm not good at staying up late, but I'll have to.
Oh, it's worth it for this.
Power through it.
There's gonna be so much to talk about, so we're very excited for Endgame. Obviously, we know you guys are as well. Just be nice, don't spoil anything. Mm-hmm. We all want to see this movie together, so don't do that. All right, so. The biggest news that's come out this past week is we finally got information on Episode 9. Like, I feel like they have really held this one close to the chest for so long.
Yeah.
So The Last Jedi came out.
Well, and also because potentially the biggest movie of the year is about to come out.
Right.
So
Disney was like, we don't want to do those two properties. It's too close together.
The teaser that came out is going to be awesome to see on the big screen before Avengers. It's going to be so cool.
So we found out some other information though about the movie through the live stream and through the TV celebration that they did. So I'm going to kind of jump through a little bit. So obviously we know in The Last Jedi that Luke's lightsaber gets destroyed, right? It gets split in half. Obviously in the trailer, his lightsaber is back together. And so we find out though that on the live stream. On the celebration, they talked about how it does get fixed, but there's a lot of new stuff with it as well. That's very exciting. They also talked about how, like, I didn't realize that Carrie Fisher was actually going to be in this movie, which was a big deal to me. That was really cool to see her. So we're gonna talk about the trailer. We're gonna talk about it kind of frame by frame a little bit. You're shaking your head.
No, sorry. I'm not sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about this thing frame by frame, and we're going to break it down as best we can. We're going to look at it. We're going to dissect it because that's what we do. And there's a lot of different ways they could go with this.
Yes.
And a lot of people's eyes, they saw the trailer as some of the shots that we saw as repairing what some people think that what's his name? Rian Johnson kind of broke, which I don't know if breaking it is that's a stretch.
No, and I think that's reading into it way too deep. I think that's reading into it and saying, this is what I think is going to happen based off these really like vague shots from this movie that we know nothing is going to happen. And I know that they are going to do a bit of course correction in this movie.
Because they kind of have to. They do. You have to.
They do.
Because even as somebody who I don't love The Last Jedi, but I liked it. As somebody who liked it, I was like, there's a few things that don't really fit. There's a few things they need to fix.
As somebody who did not like The Last Jedi, I think that we need a little bit of course correction, but there aren't massive things that I would want to overturn.
Right.
From that, because we already went through the prequel trilogy. We already know how to deal with... Star Wars already knows how to deal with, the movies that are not good. So as long as episode 9 is exciting, and it's much more like escapism than Last Jedi was, and as long as they really stick the landing on this one, then I'm fine, and they don't have to overturn things that The Last Jedi brought to the table.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, because... And here's the thing. A lot of people, like, were complaining about... I think one of the biggest complaints was, like, they killed off Snoke really, really quick.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but in the original trilogy, they killed off the Emperor really, really quick as well.
Right. I have no issue with them killing off Snoke because I didn't care about Snoke, and I don't think anybody did that much. I would have preferred that they kill off Snoke if I knew, like, I know where they're going with this trilogy.
Yeah.
But it seems like they were like, here you go, Ryan, and we'll figure out something for episode 9, you know,
later. You do something with it, and we'll figure out the rest.
You go ahead and have this movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of indicative of Star Wars desperately needs a Kevin Feige. And this isn't just like, well, it kind of is, but like the Marvel, you know, sorry, I don't want to use that word. The Marvel fan inside of me, the diehard Marvel fan inside of me, is saying that Star Wars so desperately needs someone who like oversees the entire project, understands the characters, understands where they want to go with them. I'm not saying create an MCU out of Star Wars. It's just that you need someone.
You can't just do whatever you want to do and then try to pick up the pieces later.
Right.
Like, you need somebody who can pinpoint and, like, make sure that you're still, like, make sure that you can use whatever color you want to color with, but you just still have to stay within the lines and get there. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, the one thing, and everybody knows that we're MCU fans, whatever. The one thing that, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe does is, like, Kevin Feige's like, listen, this is your movie. You do it however you want to do it. Just hit these points.
Yeah,
and just get to this part
where we're going,
right?
With it.
And it's like if you want to do like with was it the first Thor movie where you saw the gauntlet for the first time?
Yeah,
that was probably one of the ones where he was like, all right, let's not do that again.
Yeah, that was a small thing too.
But
he's also building this 22 film saga to where Star Wars has 3 movies. They're trying to create a new trilogy.
Right.
The Force Awakens sets up a lot of interesting things and some really interesting characters.
And
it's like, Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, just like, and I really feel like Star Wars, like, together, like, they try to throw so much into one movie. Like, they try to throw so much into one movie.
Right.
And it's like, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of trilogies. Like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But it's like, if you're going to throw this much at us, like, the one thing I think that the original trilogy did was, like, it threw a lot at us, but it made it to where you could understand it. Like, and you weren't getting lost. Like, in The Last Jedi, and even in The Force Awakens a little bit, there were times I was like, wait, where are we at now? Like, what is going on now?
The original trilogy set up so much, like, interesting iconography and so many interesting characters that people read into so incredibly deeply. Iconography that's not even there, which is great, and I love it.
Right.
And characters that aren't even characters. It's just like, yeah, this guy in the background of this one shot belongs to this race from this planet. He had a family. He's the equivalent of a space mailman, you know, and here's his backstory. You know, and he's got a dog creature living at home. You know, it's like people obsess so deeply over that because of how, like, striking they presented, like, the science fiction genre way back then, way back in the 70s and 80s. So it's like, if you have to have an idea of where you're going, you have to have management and oversight if you want to, like, kind of reinstate Star Wars. If Disney wants to reinstate Star Wars, and they didn't do that.
Right.
So and I'm hoping that Episode 9 really ties things together.
And it's, from what we've seen, it seems like it does, because it's kind of like, all right, we're gonna kind of go back to the beginning, like the very beginning. We're gonna make this full circle.
The thing that excites me most is seeing Rey, Finn, Poe, BB-8, Chewbacca all in together. One location together.
Now 3 different story arcs, which sounds kind of like that's one of the biggest gripes I had with The Last Jedi. But yet again, like, they did the exact same thing in Infinity War, and I was fine with it. But
they did a very similar thing in Empire too, because The Last Jedi mirrors Empire a lot, like just as much as Force Awakens mirrors.
But it's how you like cut the movie together. Like that has a big part of it. And so, like, these scenes where you go from one place to one place, that's fine. It's just how you cut it. Because there were times when you were like in The Last Jedi, you were like, you're here and then boom, you're there, and you're like, wait, what is happening when I go here? You know what I mean?
Not only that, but I did not care at all about what Finn was doing or about what Poe was doing. I only cared about what Rey was doing, and I was like, please, can we get back to Rey?
Right.
Whereas in Infinity War, you've got Iron Man's thing going on with the battle on Titan, and that's awesome. You've got Captain America's thing going on with the Battle of Wakanda, that's awesome.
You've got Thor with Stormbreaker.
To get his hammer, which is like the most interesting part out of all three of them, but all three
and
of them...
And then you've got Thanos just looming everywhere, keeping them together.
And you have that tying it together, but The Last Jedi just like really...
It's all over the place.
Fumbled the ball.
It does. And like... Yeah. I will say this because a lot of people are like, well, a lot of people have a problem with Rey, and I'm like, I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
Like I think she does a fantastic job. I think she's done a great job. I enjoy Kylo Ren. Like,
oh, I love him.
I love Kylo Ren. And so like, and I think he could play the perfect character of, because like we don't know where his story arc is going in this one. Like we don't know if he's going to be like if he's going to continue to be on the dark side even more, or if he's going to make the jump from the dark side to the light side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what side he's going to go to yet, which is really, really cool. So, that still being up in the air is really cool. Like, there's a lot of insight for this movie. And I'll be honest, before the trailer, I was like, yeah, it's episode 9. I'm going to go see it, but I'm not that excited for it right now. And then all of a sudden, when that trailer dropped, I was like, oh, nope. I'm excited. Like, I'm back on this train.
Well, really, what got me about the trailer, first of all, there's some really striking imagery, which I really like. And then, like, anytime they play a theme, an iconic Star Wars theme, I'm like, yeah, I'm sold.
I'm in.
And they just play that one iconic theme. I think it's the Force theme. I might be wrong on that, which is a huge L for me. But they play that iconic theme, which there are so many iconic themes in Star Wars. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they end with a laugh.
Which we'll talk about in a
right
second.
Before the title
We'll jump into that here in a second.
Yeah.
So one thing that was really cool to me, and listen, Star Wars fans are some of the best fans in the world. Like, they're awesome. But they're also some of the darkest, like, cruelest pieces of crap there are, too. Which... I mean, if you're an MCU fan, if you're a wrestling fan, like they're both sides of the spectrum in every fandom. Like that's just going to happen. But the hate that Kelly Tran got was ridiculous.
I think that The Last Jedi just really unleashed something really terrible
in Star Wars fans. Yeah,
yeah.
Because like, don't get me wrong, I was not a fan of the Rose character. Like she didn't need. Like, she really didn't need to be there. Like, you know what I mean?
You're not one of the 11 people on the planet who is a fan of Rose.
No. But I will say, like, there's no point in, like, attacking. Like, she didn't do anything. Like, it wasn't the actress. It wasn't her fault. It was the writing. Like, and so you can't blame her. So, like, I'm very excited to see her in this movie. Because, like, I think she'll do a great job. I think whatever they find for her, unless they kill her off in, like, the first minute or something. Which... Hey.
That would be way too pandering and really lame. I think she's just going to take more of a backseat role,
right? Which is fine because she's not one of the core characters, right. which is fine. I'm also very excited to see Finn actually like do something in this movie.
Yes,
totally. And like he gets his own like he even said in the stream or at the celebration that he gets his own outfit this time because like the Force Awakens he was either in the Stormtrooper suit for a while. He stole Poe, or he had Poe's jacket for a while. Mm-hmm. And then, like, in The Last Jedi, he wore, like, trash or something, like, one time. Like, he was covered, like, I don't remember what it was. But anyways, he says he gets his own custom, like, attire. Like, that'll be, like, what he's known for from now on, which is really, really cool.
Great.
So, like, I'm very excited to see Finn. I'm very excited to see Poe. I'm very excited to see how and what they do with Carrie Fisher. Because that's really interesting to me. You know which character I am dying to see is R2-D2. Where the heck has R2-D2 been for both of these movies? He is my favorite. Was he not there? And his absence has made me come to realize that he's my favorite character. Was he not there? Not in the teaser. I thought he was in the movies though. He was barely in Force Awakens, and he was kind of barely in Last Jedi too. Okay, because he was in I think they said he'll be in this movie. Yeah, I think he's going to have a much stronger presence in this movie, which is super exciting because he's my favorite character and I desperately need him back. Like, because the first one was like it was all about BB-8. Like that was the main, which I like. Like I like BB-8.
Me too. Yeah.
And then apparently there's a new one in this one called Dio or Doe or it's got some weird name, but it's. I'll say this: the concept art for it. Let's see if I can find it. The concept art for it.
Is he the one that looks like a little like reading lamp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The concept art for it was a duck, like a rubber ducky.
Nice.
Like, which is really cool. But like he came out, I was like, that's actually kind of cute. Like,
I saw that in the teaser. So.
And so that would be really cool. So like there's a lot of new stuff they're going to add in. There's a lot of stuff they're going to try to. I don't want to say retcon, but they're going to be like, yeah, remember that? Well, we're going to kind of push that to the side a little bit, and we're going to jump here.
Honestly, I don't have an issue if they don't retcon Rey's parents.
I don't either.
Because Star Wars is a story about, and I think they're totally going to, but Star Wars is a story about greatness and heroism and great power coming from such humble beginnings.
Right.
And I'm okay with that if they don't retcon Rey's parents. And I really didn't have an issue with that reveal in the first place. That's not one of the things that I blame Rian for.
I got to remember this if I can. Her parents are just like nobodies.
Yes.
Which, why do they have to be somebody? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Right, because, it's because people just want things to have some grand plan and some higher significance. But that's something that I get why people take an issue with it, but I personally am fine with.
Right. I'm trying to think of how to say this. I don't know what they're going to do. Because, like, Mark Hamill is the one that kind of, like, narrated, I guess you could say, the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his role is going to be in The Last Jedi. Or not The Last Jedi. We know what his role was in that movie. And The Rise of Skywalker. I'm assuming he'll have something to do with it. But to me, and I might get flack for this, and that's fine, whatever. I think he's like I don't need to see him anymore. Like,
I think it's pretty much a lock at this point that he's going to come back as a Force Ghost.
Right? Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
We're going to see Force Ghosts in this movie,
which I'm fine with that. That's whatever. It's just I don't know, and I don't think he liked the script at all for The Last Jedi, which he's been on record to say, and I think he just kind of honed in his performance because of it. And it's like you could have made it a little bit better just by trying.
Right. I think that a lot of people and a lot of the fandom media is trying to twist minor things that Mark Hamill says into, look, guys, he hated The Last Jedi too. You know, we got him on our team. I don't think that that's true. I think that he took issue with it, which is fine. That's just kind of the way that I see it. And
because he kind of even said, like, when I first read the script, I was like, but this isn't something Luke would do. And it's like, well, no, but... You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, well...
And like,
and I'm sort of playing devil's advocate here because I don't really like Last Jedi all that much.
Right.
I do think that the character changes that Luke goes through in particular are organic.
Yeah.
And fit with his character.
No, I would say that. I just think it's some of the actions that he said kind of put that in there. Like, I think that's kind of the part of it. But, I don't know, like, he was just, I don't know, he was kind of distant to me in The Last Jedi. Like, and like the whole movie, and I'll say that, I've said this 1,000 times, The Last Jedi is a beautifully shot movie. Like, it's, like, aesthetic-wise, it is beautiful. And it's done great. And it's awesome.
I love the island that Luke is on.
I love the red, like the sand that turns into red. Like, I love that. That's awesome.
And it looks like in Episode 9, we're going to get more of that. Especially with the shot of Kylo in, like, that red tinged forest.
Yeah.
That looked so cool.
Yeah. But, like, to me, like, I don't know. Like, it's not the best one, and it's just okay. I don't hate it as much as everybody else does, but, like, I think I talked myself out of liking it a little bit just by talking about it with you a little bit more.
See, and I really don't want to do that. I don't want to
bring anything down. No. It's just, like...
You know.
I think it's just, like, part of me, and this is just the type of person I am, that when somebody, or, like, a lot of people, for no reason, like, hate on something, I kind of go to the opposite end. I'm like, nope, I liked it just because you guys hated it. Like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the stance I took on Captain Marvel until I went and watched it and actually liked it. But, like, to me, and I'm probably going to have to go back and watch it, there's just a lot that they could have done better. But I think in Episode 9, I think it's going to be... I don't know, I think this might be the perfect way to end the trilogy. Depending on if they do it right, I think it's the perfect way to end it. This is weird. I don't think I've ever said this, but I actually trust J.J. Abrams to actually take care of it a little bit.
I do too. And you know what? Talking about the end of the trilogy, talking about the end of the saga.
Yeah.
I think, in my mind, the perfect way to end the saga, and I've talked about this with my friends before, is to end the Jedi, end the Sith, and end the Skywalkers.
Yep.
And that's just got to be the end of it.
Yep. I think we are done with the Jedi.
Yes.
And I think that's why they call it The Last Jedi, which is, whatever. The only thing I could see them doing, which I kind of hope they don't, but I could see them taking the Skywalker name, like the Rise of the Skywalker, could be them taking the Skywalker name and putting it as the new Jedi. You know what I mean? And Rey could be the first Skywalker. She could be the first one to fit into that group. Which I don't know if I want to see that or not.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't thought
because it's
before, but
I mean, and I don't like using this analogy, but I heard that's the one I heard it used. But it's kind of like people who follow Christ are called Christians. Mm-hmm. So this one would be people who followed Luke's ways would be called Skywalkers. People who followed that would be called Skywalkers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they
would have to do it right.
Good story reason for that, and it's not just a little technicality. So yeah, she was the last Jedi. Isn't that cool, guys? And now they're called Skywalkers.
Yeah.
I can see that working. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and probably jump into the trailer, just kind of talk about it frame by frame. So it kind of starts off with heavy breathing, which is a little weird to me. No, it's Rey on what planet is it? Is it?
It looks like either Jakku or Tatooine.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the Force Awakens trailer started with heavy breathing as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finn.
But then we just see her and she's in a standoff with a what are they called?
TIE Fighter. It's a different model though.
Yeah, because a lot of people it's Kylo Ren. It doesn't look like his from The Last Jedi. Because it looks like if you go back and look at the one from The Last Jedi, it's not as rectangle-y. It just looks different. So I don't know. It may be a new version of it, or it may just be somebody else. But we just kind of see her, and I love the title. Every generation has a legend, because that's a nice little callback. Yeah. Was it the first?
I think it was the Phantom Menace trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it had a cool slogan, so that's all that matters. Sure. Yeah, so we get the TIE Fighter. TIE Fighter?
Sure.
TIE Fighter flying by, yeah. This is one of the coolest, she runs weird, that's a little weird, but that's alright. But this is one of the coolest shots of her jumping over it like that. That's so cool to me.
It is.
And then we just get nice little subtle shots of...
And I'm thinking that's training.
Yeah.
I'm thinking whoever's flying that is training with her.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think Kylo Ren?
I don't know.
Fight the greater force that is...
I don't know. I think it's implied by Kylo Ren, so that makes me think it's not.
Not, yeah. So then we just get nice shots of Kylo Ren fighting, taking something down, him rebuilding his mask, which is I think a subtle nod of yep, nope, we want him to keep his mask. We don't, you broke it, we're gonna fix this real quick. Yeah. But it also has a nice callback to Darth Vader's character arc of he got broken and they refixed him, because there's a rumor that they're gonna go back to the scene, or he's gonna have a Force dream or whatever they called it. Of Darth Vader being transformed into, or Anakin Skywalker being transformed into Darth Vader. The scene from
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, that one.
Wow.
Which would be really cool, because if you look at it, it's not actually Kylo Ren fixing his helmet. The hand is super hairy, and we know from the first one when he took his shirt off that he has no hair on his body at all.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can get a good look at it. Yeah, look at the hand. It looks like it's got hair all over it. It looks like a monkey's hand.
Interesting.
So that's very interesting. That could be anything.
Chewbacca.
It might be. So we get a shot of Poe and Finn. We get to see Lando. What's his name?
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, reprising his role, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so it talks about the saga coming to an end. Just explosions everywhere, which is always cool. We get to see... That looks like a pirate ship.
They're on skiffs that look like the beginning of Return of the Jedi, so I'm wondering how much this movie is going to mirror Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Because they've already mirrored A New Hope and Empire with the last two, so that makes me think it totally will.
They look like they're like pirates though.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, like how Han and Leia looked at the beginning of
Return of the Jedi. And so we get that shot. We get to see Carrie Fisher back, which makes me think because they hugged. Rey and her hugged right after Han's death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because why would she hug Rey and not Chewie first? Because they've all been friends a lot longer. And J.J. Abrams was like, "Yeah, we kind of messed up on that one. That one didn't make a whole lot of sense." It was like, "Oh, yep, nope." But like I think that they just kind of took that scene and may have like digitally edited it onto this one, which would make a whole lot of sense. Then we finally get to see all of them together. See if I can get it to stop at the right place. See, they're hugging. Stop. Nope. Stop. Nope. Stop. There we go. We get to see.
Oh. No, never mind.
What?
I thought it was R2, but it's not.
No, we get to see.
Close enough.
We get to see Finn, Poe, Rey, BB-8. I don't remember what the little one's name is. I think it's like D-O, something like that. Mm-hmm. C-3PO, and then Chewie in the background. So they're all together.
Which is good.
Which is where they should be.
I'm really happy about that. So that we're not going in 3 different directions, 2 of which are boring, just like the last movie. I'm excited about that. And I because like the original trilogy set up characters and they feel like a squad. They feel like a team. And we don't really have that with the sequel trilogy, so I'm hoping they really drive it home.
Right, yeah. And then we get the shot of one of the Death Stars. Mm-hmm. Pieces of it. Which one do you think that is?
I heard second because it's still not fully constructed.
Right. Is that the one? That's not the one.
That's from Return of the Jedi.
They all ran together, man.
Yeah, there are now 3 Death Stars. Me and my friend were joking.
There's 3? Like, yeah, there is 3.
What do you think the chances are that Palpatine is building a 4th Death Star?
Very high.
And I was like, 4th time's the charm.
Very high. So yeah, that's Death Star. That's really cool.
I totally don't think they're going to do that.
I could see them doing it though.
It would be funny.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. that's their. But it is kind of broke. So we get to see the Death Star, and then is it here or is it? Yeah. And then we get to hear the iconic laugh of the Emperor, which was awesome. Like to see because like I was watching the live stream when it happened, and like everybody freaked out, and then the lights kind of came back up a little bit, and there was like red on the background, and then Ian, I can't ever pronounce his last name. McDiarmid, yeah. He showed up, and then his voice said, "Roll it again," and everybody just like freaked out again, and then they played the trailer. So he's going to be in this movie. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? How do you think this goes out? Like, how do you think this plays out? What do you think happens in this?
Probably a Sith Force ghost, and by saying that, it's probably not going to be that.
Can the Sith do that?
I don't know.
Because I thought like they could. I'm trying to think about it. Because like I thought they could only kind of like embody something, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know the rules on that, but
I don't think they do either.
The rules may be retconned, and they might not know the rules either. But as long as they make it work, then I'm all right with that. Yeah, it's cool, and I'm excited about it.
Do you think he's been alive the whole time?
No, and he better not have been. They better not pull a Darth Maul again and be like, "Well, he's back."
Okay, so.
Which Darth Maul, when he came back, was cool.
Yeah, but everybody was like, that's so awesome. I was like, is it, though?
Like, at first, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But after seeing what they did with Darth Maul in the Clone Wars... and
I hadn't seen that yet.
Not in Solo, but in the Clone Wars, what they did with him was awesome. So, there's that.
Do you know there are people out there... This is not a dig at you if you're one of these people. I'm just making an observation. There are people out there that like the Solo films more than the other ones.
Like the what?
Like Rogue One and the one-offs. Like they
love Rogue One and Solo,
like the better and Solo.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
No, more than like the original trilogy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. There are plenty of people who like the prequels better than the original. I know a person who likes the prequels better.
Are they insane? Like, are they normal?
No.
Okay. Do they need help? Like mental help?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, we like you. Subscribe, please subscribe. But no, we're gonna try to change your mind. That's what we're trying to do. No, it's all in good fun. But like to me, I didn't mind Rogue One. Like, Rogue One was just kind of like, okay, like, that's fine, that's cool. They all died at the end, which is whatever. And then Solo, I hated Solo. Like, I absolutely hated Solo with a passion.
Here is the issue that I've talked about with my friend who likes Star Wars way more than I do, which I love it, obviously.
Right.
I was obsessed with it the way I've been with Marvel. I was upset, like, Star Wars was a defining characteristic of my personality for like 4 years, mostly in middle school. So like, I absolutely adore it. My issue with every Star Wars movie after The Force Awakens has been that they're kind of meta. And it seems like it doesn't seem like as much escapism as it seems like they're trying to world build, and it's not really working. The most egregious example is in Solo when they play the Imperial March in the spaceport, which in a Marvel movie would be okay. Because it's a different tone and it's a different universe. But there's a big difference. There's a huge difference when you're trying to go full escapism, which is really important, an integral part of Star Wars. Even the prequels totally captured the escapism more than I would say The Last Jedi does, even though I don't think The Last Jedi is quite as bad as any of the prequels. The Last Jedi, I think, really fails in just delivering the escapism that I want from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of issues with it to where it's like, like when you're making a film, you can see the seams.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to be able to see the seams with the Star Wars movie. And The Force Awakens, I think, really got it. But with Rogue One, and even more with Last Jedi and Solo, it just feels too meta. And that's such a big problem for me when Star Wars is so much about, like, full escapism. You're supposed to be in this galaxy far, far away. Why does Luke have superpowers?
Who cares?
Why does he throw the lightsaber with perfect comedic timing? And etc. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're welcome. On Star Wars, on the issues, the pros and cons of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, like, I think I can talk for both of us when I say this, that we're both very excited for Episode 9.
Yeah.
Because it's a Star Wars movie. Like, just the fact that there's one coming out, we're both going to go see it. Like, that's just, I think we're kind of at that part of, like, loyalty with them now. It's kind of like the MCU. Like, if any MCU movie comes out, we're going to go see it.
If Solo 2 comes out, I'm not going to go see it.
I might go see it. And just be like, can it get any worse? Can it get any worse? No. The answer to that question is no.
It's interesting because this is kind of round 3 of Marvel versus Star Wars. Not like there's a real battle happening there, and it's just kind of like taking place in my head, and it really doesn't matter at all. But round 1 was Age of Ultron against Force Awakens, which easily goes to Star Wars. Round 2 is Infinity War versus Last Jedi, which easily goes to Infinity War. So I'm interested to see. I think Endgame is a total lock to be fantastic, at least as good as Infinity War. If not better, especially with what we've been hearing, reactions to kind of the leaked footage that's comes out, which I mentioned to you earlier, with people saying it is mind-blowing, probably the best MCU movie so far, better than Infinity War, etc., etc. Where was I going? Round 3 of Marvel vs. Star Wars is Endgame versus Rise of Skywalker, which I think Rise of Skywalker is a total wild card.
Yeah.
Because I adore Force Awakens, and I don't like anything they've put out since then. But Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker has such a huge opportunity to be amazing and one of the best Star Wars movies ever.
One thing I am hoping, though, is that during the movie, the title makes sense at least once.
Yeah, and not.
But I think
not in the sense that they directly reference the title.
Right? No.
I will not be the Last Jedi.
Yeah. No, but like if you look at the
meta issues,
if you look at the original trilogy, I think they follow the same format, don't they? With the title, let me see if I can find just it.
Oh, you mean like with Revenge of the Sith, ending of the trilogy?
Right, but like the type. So like it's like A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, right? Yeah. So you have A New Hope, you have Empire Strikes Back, and then you have Return of the Jedi. And then in this one, it's Force Awakens, which is kind of like A New Hope, The Last Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and then The Rise. So it's kind of like the same concepts a little bit.
Right. Revenge ended the prequel trilogy.
Right.
Return ends the original trilogy.
And then
Rise ends the sequel trilogy.
So do you think they make 3 more after this? Because I think they almost do.
Oh, no.
I think that's like a lock at this point.
No, I think it really depends on the reaction. Because Last Jedi made them reconsider all of their plans. Seriously.
No, it did.
Totally
it did.
It totally did. It made them say, we're canceling everything Star Wars and we're figuring out what we're doing except for The Mandalorian. You have survived the Last Jedi snap, the Last Jedi decimation.
The Mickey snap.
Yeah. Where they were just like, wow, the reaction to that was not good. So we're going to change everything.
Why would you have 2 different directors do the trilogy?
We can go on about that all day long.
Like, that makes absolutely... okay, so, the MCU does that all the time with, their trilogies. So, Jon Favreau did the first 2 Iron Man
trilogies.
Yeah. I don't remember who did the last Iron Man movie, but...
Shane Black.
You had... I don't remember who did the first Cap movie.
Joe Johnston.
And then you had the Russo brothers after that. So, the thing about that, though, is, it wasn't right in the freaking middle of the trailer. Or the trilogy. So it wasn't like you had the first director do this one, and then, oh yeah, you do the last one, but we're going to let somebody else do the middle one. Also, that makes no sense.
Star Wars and Marvel are not the same thing.
Right.
And Marvel is trying to build this huge franchise based around different movies, different characters. They very carefully select their directors, not saying Rian Johnson wasn't carefully selected.
Right.
They also don't put the entire weight of the character and of the franchise onto one director, unless it's the Russo brothers. They just say, hit these beats, go in this direction, do what you want, unless you're Edgar Wright, in which case you can't really do what you want. But that's
another subject for another day.
This is so sad. Star Wars is so fundamentally different from Marvel. You can't just copy that formula and say, we're going to stick a different director here right in the middle. Now, the original trilogy... First one was directed by George Lucas. Second one was Irving Kershner, and I think the third one was back to George Lucas.
But didn't George Lucas help with the second one?
Totally, yeah.
Did J.J. Abrams help with the Last Jedi at all?
No, not to my knowledge. Also, Rian Johnson is not Irving Kershner.
No, Rian Johnson sucks. Has he? What other movies has he done?
I don't know, but. I would be interested to see him. He's got a new movie coming out. I think it's a murder mystery called Knives Out, and I'm interested to see how that plays out for him. I don't think that he's terrible. I think that he's completely the wrong fit for Star Wars.
He did Looper.
Okay.
Which Looper's not bad.
I think that almost everyone can agree with that.
Yeah.
That he's not the right... he's not right for Star Wars. He's not right for the tone. Unless you're a Last Jedi superfan, which is fine, but...
Yeah, no. It's...
It was a very strange decision.
It's they literally were setting themselves up for failure, and then were shocked because it failed. And it's
No, and that's because they don't have a Kevin Feige who is making all of these decisions very intentionally, deliberately going in one direction.
And you can't I don't think you need a director to be Kevin Feige either. You need somebody who... You don't need one director to take over the entire thing and then be
right.
Because then that I think that just leads into conflict. You need somebody like a producer, executive producer, like Kevin Feige, who's listen, do whatever you want. I think he literally told Taika Waititi, do whatever you want to do. Just make sure you do this, 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 and this.
It's the same issue with DC. It's the same exact issue because DC jumped right into Man of Steel, and then they asked Zack Snyder to be their Jon Favreau, Joss Whedon, and Kevin Feige all rolled into one. They wanted him to take the entire creative direction of the universe. They wanted him to direct all the movies. And he was just going to control it from there on out, and we all know how that turned out. It was horrible.
The movies
issues with Zack Snyder aside, that was unfair of them to put all of that onto one guy.
Right, and I don't think it's any shock that none of these Zack Snyder movies are the best DC movies.
In fact, they are the worst DC movies.
Exactly. Aquaman isn't that great, but it's still
not god awful.
No, and then Shazam is actually really good.
Really good.
Yeah. They're the ones where Zack Snyder's not even around do better. Which I'm not knocking Zack Snyder, but I kind of am at the same time.
As far away we get from his influence, the better.
The better, yeah. And so
he had a hand in Suicide Squad. He had a hand in Wonder Woman. He was tangentially related to Aquaman, And now he has nothing to do with Shazam, and it's awesome.
And I don't think he has anything to do with the Suicide Squad either.
No.
Which is going to be great as well. So that's, yeah. So, I don't know. It's weird because, like, I think J.J. Abrams, if he would have done all three, I think this could have been one of the best. This could have been the best Star Wars trilogy. Or one of the best. Like, one of the better ones.
That would be a tough one.
It would be, but I think you would just kind of have to see how he handled The Last Jedi. You know what I mean?
The issue is that when it comes to lore, as we have seen with Lost and Cloverfield, J.J. Abrams is not the most linear, realistic thinker.
Right.
He sets up some awesome stuff in Force Awakens. I don't trust his ability to follow through on that. But regardless of who would have directed The Last Jedi, you still need a producer. You still need someone overseeing. You still need someone
production
overseeing the direction that you're going towards.
And here's my other question: why didn't they write all three of these movies at the same time, or did they? Because I don't feel like they did.
I don't think they did.
Like, why not? If you know they're going to be not necessarily back to back to back, but if you know they're going to be following the same exact story from the beginning to the end. Would it not be better to write the same story all the way through?
You just need a guideline.
You need somebody.
You need to know where you're going. You need to know what your main characters are going to
Which
be
in
doing.
the first one wasn't that George Lucas?
Yeah. Yeah, and he had kind of different ideas for Return of the Jedi, and he kind of like reworked it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, but he still had an idea for where he wanted the characters to go and where he wanted them to end up. And what he wanted them to do. And really, I mean, what they did with Finn in The Last Jedi could have been tacked on super quickly and easily because it sucked and because it seemed like they just kind of threw him into the movie.
Yeah.
So you just need to have an idea with what you're doing with your characters.
Exactly.
And this is coming from, obviously, a diehard Marvel fan who... enjoys what they do, but I mean, this is the reason that Marvel is having upward momentum right now with Endgame and Star Wars. People don't really know what's going on apart from Episode 9, The Mandalorian, and Clone Wars Season 7. So,
but I will say that all of the reaction I have seen to this trailer has been basically positive, like overwhelmingly positive. Like people who are like, I was not excited about this movie at all, and then I watched the trailer, and now I'm like beyond excited for this movie.
It's when they play that theme. It's the theme, man.
They could just stand there with the theme, and it would get people excited.
That is the heart and soul of Star Wars, is the music. I keep saying that over and over again.
It's the best thing about it.
As a former Star Wars diehard, and still kind of a diehard to a degree, but it's the music. It is so the music.
Right.
I don't want to say that nothing in the trailer was of value other than the music. Like obviously,
I think it was honestly, I think it was the music and the laugh at the end.
Yeah,
because people are like, oh, he's in it. I'm excited to see it.
And the fact that they made Rey do a jump that like you did with your action figures when you were jumping over a TIE fighter. It was it's just something that's cool to see.
And I feel like this movie is going to lend heavily on some nostalgia stuff.
Totally, we're going to see Force Ghosts.
We're going to see it all.
Guaranteed.
Yoda's probably going to show up. Like we're gonna see a lot. To be fair though, I think Avengers Endgame is going to do the same thing. Avengers Endgame is going to be a very nostalgia-heavy movie.
Yeah,
especially with the time travel and everything else. Like it's
with all the promotional stuff they've got going.
Exactly.
On. With the potential of time travel.
Potential. Listen, I think it's a given now because there's no other reason why, and I love that they've done it this way. Of like, they've shown all of their movies. Like they're shown in the trailer, they've shown scenes from all of their movies, which means that most of the time they wouldn't have shown scenes from all of their movies if they weren't going to jump back to them at some point. Like the Russo brothers have even been tweeting out a day what movie you should be watching today to follow along the MCU in chronological order. Like they're doing that. I feel like they're doing that for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I don't think it's just obviously like this is the perfect way to be like, yeah, we've been doing this for 11 years, so here's a callback. But this is also important for the movie as well.
I don't feel like we're going to revisit every movie, but I feel like we're going to revisit plenty to where you'll be rewarded. If.
But I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to show you like, yeah, you need to watch this movie, this movie. You know what I mean? Like I think you want to throw
Incredible Hulk.
You gotta watch Thor: The Dark World.
Well,
you might actually have to watch Thor: The Dark World.
Infinity Stone in it, so
why would that be the first one?
Why would that be the first one? What?
To show an Infinity... That's the first one to show an Infinity Stone. Like, actually show it. Because you don't know about Loki's Mind Stone, and you don't know about the Space Stone and the Tesseract.
Yeah.
You just know of the object. You just don't know about... No, in Thor the Dark World, they're like, yeah, this is called a Reality Stone. It's like, oh, no. Don't do that here. Yeah. Not here.
Not important plot in this movie.
What's the worst MCU... That's... If you want to know my thoughts about that movie, check out our MCU character breakdown of Thor coming out tomorrow. That's a nice little plug. But yeah, so do you have anything else that you would like to add about Star Wars Episode 9, Avengers Endgame, Disney Plus, anything else?
Is Malekith the worst MCU villain?
Who'd be worse?
That's what I'm thinking.
What? Not Wasp. Yellow Jacket?
No. I think you're right. I think it is Malekith.
Like a main villain. Because like, there have been a few side villains that weren't that great. Hammer was pretty bad.
Oh, I love Hammer. I love Justin Hammer.
I love the character. I just don't think he did a whole lot.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah. Whiplash is actually really bad too.
Whiplash was really bad by the end, but in the racetrack fight, I thought that was awesome. Pretty cool.
Malekith didn't have any cool thing.
No.
Like it looked cool,
you're right.
But it didn't really flow well.
Yeah.
I think he's the worst. Yeah. I would say so. That might be a poll I'll put out. Like, who's the worst MCU villain of all time?
Sure.
Let's do Malekith versus Thanos and see who wins.
Yeah. Tough contest.
Malekith, Thanos, and Loki.
You could put Ghost on that poll.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But was she really a villain?
Abomination, I guess.
He was cool, though. Like, the fight, the Harlem fight was actually not that bad. It could have been worse.
In comparison to the rest of the movie, I agree.
It could have been a lot worse. I'm trying to think who else has been like... Red Skull was cool-ish. Mm-hmm. Ultron? At least he did stuff, though.
Killian wasn't so hot.
Killian. I don't even remember Killian.
Iron Man 3.
Oh, yeah.
I am the Mandarin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but Malekith didn't do anything.
Yeah,
like at all.
That's true.
Like he didn't even kill Thor's mom.
You know what's interesting?
Like, he had somebody else do it for him.
You know what's interesting is that if Thor hadn't said Thor: The Dark World technically had higher stakes than Infinity War, because if the Dark Elves would have won, they would have ended life on the universe. But Thanos only ever wanted to kill half, and Thanos succeeded. But Thor: The Dark World actually had higher stakes.
But Infinity War was so much more interesting.
Oh, well, obviously. Yeah.
So much more. If you would have swapped out, like, Loki for Malekith, then I think it would have worked fine. Like, I think it would have been a much better movie. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Because Loki is a character.
And Loki's awesome.
So, in short, no, I don't have anything to add.
We need to do an episode, though, on, like, MCU villains. Like, ranked MCU villains from worst to best to worst.
That would be fun.
I think obviously we know what, like,
after
1 and 2
Endgame.
After Endgame.
Because maybe there's a surprise villain.
Spoiler.
That's not spoilers.
That's not a spoiler.
Maybe there's a surprise villain.
You never know. I mean, the end credit scene could be full of stuff. Like, you never know what's going to happen. You have no idea. So, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. Next week, you can expect a lot of in-game talk because dadgummit is the week before. Like, it's
obviously.
It's going to be. I think what we'll do is how we're going to end the episode is we're going to give our last predictions for what we expect to happen in Avengers Endgame. But before we go, I'm glad I remembered this. Before we go, tonight on Twitter or tomorrow morning, I'm going to be posting a picture of a, what did you call it? Survival draft? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, a survival draft. So,
I'll let you explain it.
Endgame is basically the Super Bowl for comic book movies, for Marvel fans, etc. But not only is it like the Super Bowl, it's like the Super Bowl. Like, this is your team making it to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Is it the Tennessee Titans, once in a lifetime,
Ooh,
making it to the Super Bowl? Because
never happening.
God, are they terrible. But
they are.
This is, so, like, people make fantasy football drafts for the football season, which I don't really know anything about, but I know that they do that.
Yep.
So I formatted a sheet that is a survival draft, and you're predicting who's going to make it through Endgame. what was their final fate in the movie going to be. And there's 9 characters.
Yeah.
So Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Nebula, War Machine, and Thanos.
Didn't put Rocket on
You gotta click, Rocket is not going to die. And if he does, it will literally...
I would cry. Like, I would literally cry if he dies.
But you have to choose whether they live. You have to predict whether they live or they die for each of those 9 characters. And whoever gets it closest or whoever gets it right will get immense clout.
We will shout your name out.
Yeah.
On the episode. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
We'll shout your name out.
We can put like
we'll pop your name.
Streamer effect.
Yeah, we'll pop your name up there. We'll pop your Twitter account up there.
We can get a kids cheering soundbite and balloons.
Yay! We'll do something like that. So I'll post that. I will post that tonight or tomorrow. So look out for that.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to. Here's the guideline. You have to get it in before the 25th of April.
You have to get it in by April 24th.
Yep. So. That's the guideline. If you get it passed, well then...
Which that's literally on the sheet, so...
Yeah. But people don't like to read, so I'm just going to pronounce it and announce it. Just look out for that this week. Look out for our MCU character breakdowns of both Thor and the Hulk. Probably coming out tomorrow. One of them at least will come out tomorrow, if not both. So look out for that. Next week, look out for 3 more videos, but like several more characters together. So there'll be a lot of characters coming out from next week.
Yeah.
So be looking out for that as well. I think that's all the stuff I have to plug, like video wise. I believe that is it. You can follow our channel at. Go ahead.
You know what I'm excited about is I found out this week that we do have at least one very loyal SoundCloud listener. So it's not just YouTube, and that is very fun to me. We are a multi-platform.
Who's our?
I can tell you later. But we have at least one.
At least one.
Very loyal SoundCloud listener, which I am very excited about.
Yes.
Very nice to hear.
Yes. We will definitely shout you out too as well if you win, if you would like to join. So
yeah,
we'll have a party. We'll just have a party. So you can follow our channel.
We'll have a party here.
We'll have a party, and you can have a. We may like FaceTime you in. I doubt it. Don't try that. No. But we'll see.
Great idea that you just immediately shot down yourself.
Yep, retconned it. It's The Last Jedi. That was really cool. Nope, we're not doing that. All right, so that's going to do it for this week's episode. You can follow us on Twitter at The Nerd Crew Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at I'm Andy York. Jason doesn't have a Twitter. Sorry about that. That's all right. Rip. F. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe if you're on our YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play, make sure that you leave a like. Make sure that you share it. Make sure that you leave a review. Make sure that you leave 5 stars because we're the 5 stars. I was trying to say something else and that did not work.
No, you're right.
We are 5 stars. We're the best. We're like better than any other podcast out there.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming for you. Whoever's number 1. I don't even know who's in the podcasting game. So we are very excited. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm getting it all mixed up, so I'm just going to end it right here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.